Dan Gable's wrestling resume is really very, very impressive. I don't even probably have to tell you, but he was a 3-time undefeated state champion at Waterloo West High School, 2-time NCAA champion at Iowa State, world champion in 1971, Olympic champion in 1972, and of course led the University of Iowa to 15 NCAA team championships in his 21 years as the head coach. He continues to be wrestling's greatest ambassador. Please welcome Mr. Dan Gable.
I'll keep this brief. It's been a long evening, but we've had some good entertainment, and I think it's very important. History is something that you got to continue to make it to be able to have it. Otherwise, it just kind of goes away. And so we need to be looking to that future. So it's very important. If there's anything I will say that I think that is real crucial to this group, it involves trust. It involves trust in certain things, and no matter what, if that trust gets violated, you must work it out. And we have so many good people in our sport that all of a sudden, because of something, gets turned off to some other group, some other individual, and then all of a sudden our sport gets held back. Not too long ago, some of the major organizations within our sport, USA Wrestling, the National Wrestling Coaches Association, and the Hall of Fame, have spent quite a bit of time actually in trying to form an alliance, a group that would actually become a stronger type of group from a voice, and to try to get everybody to be able to join this alliance from a standpoint of going in the same direction instead of in many different directions. And they contacted me and talked to me about it, and they kind of asked me to be their coach in meetings. And what I'm asking is that the trust that you have to have in belief in something is so important, because if they're not going in that direction, then somebody needs to tell them that. Somebody needs to make sure that they can work through it. Otherwise, that strong voice will never happen. We have football, we have basketball, we have a lot of other sports. And wrestling needs to be the next sport in. Wrestling, in my imagination, is bigger than football, is bigger than basketball, but in reality, that's difficult, very difficult. But it still can be a dream, and it's a difficult one. But there are a lot of situations out there that we get pushed around. We're not a group that likes to get pushed around, but because we aren't strong enough from a group together, one strong voice, we get left alone. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons because there's a lot more opportunity out there today. They're not all bad reasons. Sometimes they get administered and pushed in there by a law or by some way that makes it even difficult and makes it even overbearing or even almost impossible. But somehow you have to work through that. And so that's kind of where we are. There's a lot more today than there was in the past. And so we're battling a lot more from that point of view. Simplest things like realignment of conference can affect our sport. You have to be up on top of that and be ready to go and have alternative ways to make your sport the best when that happens. Right now they're talking about increasing scholarship values, which might be okay, but there's a negative to that. And the increase in scholarships would probably be to the football, to the basketball, and those types of situations. But who is it going to affect in a negative way? Because you're already reading about people that are saying, that are in influential positions, that are saying, okay, we'll go along with that, but we don't have extra money, and so we're going to have to cut something. And you can bet your dollar that they're going to be cutting things that is close to my heart and your heart with that in mind. So there's a lot of different things that we don't think about that affect us, but if we're strong enough, and we are the next sport in, and we have a strong voice, we have much more opportunity to exist in its entirety. There was a third page of USA Today, I believe, just 2 or 3 days ago, that talked about a new sports survey that was just taken. And it wasn't just wrestling, but wrestling had the highest percentage in that survey of numbers deficient as compared to 10 years ago. Football was down 16%, baseball was down 8%, basketball stayed the same. Wrestling was, in this survey, I don't even want to say the percentage. But yet, we are still increasing high school numbers. We have the fastest growing high school women's sport that there is. We still have a lot of things that are going strong, but one of the things that is difficult is to try to get our major organizations together as a group. And that's where trust comes in. And that's where this group right here with Ellen Rice, he stood up here and he said, somebody made me mad, so I went out and did something. Well, I want to make you mad again, because we want you to do some more. Not just that former history, but we want to create new history. And it's really good that Sanderson, Cejudo, Gardner, they get their names back in it, because that's maybe one of the only ways that we can get some really good press immediately. But it's more than that. We also need performance. And without the alliance together, without everybody on that same page, realizing that everybody has an opinion, and that's difficult. But without that trust that there's people out there that are actually wanting and will do the right thing, it's difficult. And I think that's the most important thing. In fact, even dealing and hearing Ellen talking tonight about certain philosophies, about how to help Greco-Roman wrestling in training centers and things like that, you know, his strong voice must be taken very strongly by Mitch Hull back here at USA Wrestling. And yet, if it's not the right thing, then he must be convinced and understand what the better thing is. And that's very important. So nothing's easy within developing a stronger structure, but at the same time, we are the sport that helps all sports. Anybody that wrestles will help their own sport and learn more about it from an individual point of view and just from a discipline point of view. And it burdens me when I have to pick up the paper when I see casualties in the service, because almost every time, or at least a high percentage of the time, when I'm reading down the casualty and the background, that it was a wrestler. And to me, that says it all, like the history, you know, the freedom, and the type of special person that we are that can affect everybody in the world. So that's it. And, you know, I just want to say that I've had tremendous support my whole life from my family, immediate family, and my wrestling family. My wife's here tonight, Kathy, and it continues that way. My family's getting bigger. I don't want to get smaller, and I know my family that I was born into, a family of 4, is now at 16. But I just want to make sure my family of wrestling continues to get bigger as well. And that's why there has to be a lot of trust in our major leaders. We have one here tonight. We have many of them that are here, and a lot of them got awards. And so I leave you with that, and it's been a great evening. Thank you.